and the children of enemies, so-called enemies, that will die in conflict. And she said also 10 years and we'll be at war within 10 years. Is this she mentioned the children who would die in wars, and within 10 years we may well be at war. And that reminds me of the moves that are happening at this moment to take us into that dangerous pathway. And we hear already that Prince Harry has been sent to Ukraine to liaise with the Ukrainian armed forces and other activities that he's been asked to do by the British government. He's saving his reputation at the same time, but he is also seemingly encouraging similar-aged youth and younger people to get ready for the prospect of conscription. Now, if we look at this whole question, I was alarmed to read that the House of Commons library had been supplied with a draft bill or a pre-draft bill for MPs to read. They'll no doubt be getting copies of that today as they meet for the steel emergency debates. And they are going to be reading the fact that the government is preparing to propose, I know it's all preliminary stuff, but they are preparing to propose conscription for young people. And that reminds me that we must redouble our efforts to get conscription-aged youth to come and speak at these gatherings, because it is their life that is at risk. They will be the ones learning how to kill, how to use drones, how to decimate other young adults in trenches. It's a combination of high tech and the First World War again. So it's a horrible scenario, and we're going to push our youth into that. The House of Commons Library has got the first stages of the draft bill for reintroducing conscription. And now that reminds me again of the fact that when I was 14 years old, I don't look like 14 now, but when I was 14 years old, I went along to George Square one day, one afternoon. I had a camera with me, and actually there was an anti-conscription demonstration going on there. And it was a successful movement, actually. Harold, the Conservative government of Alex Douglas Hume had put forward a bill to reintroduce conscription in 1963. And this was to handle the dangerous crumbling of the empire. The British Empire was crumbling quite fast at that time. There was war in Malaysia, there was uprisings in Indonesia, there was rebellions in Cyprus, and in Aden, Mad Mitch was killing masses of Yemenis, and they are still fighting. They've remembered that to this day. And so the British Empire needed personnel, and young people were in the firing line to be recruited. And the Conservative government put that forward. Luckily, in 1964, they were kicked out of office. Harold Wilson came in, but he was minded actually to keep going the quest for young people to fill the ranks of the depleted armed forces. And the conscription bill was still on the statute. And it was the popular uprising of trade unionists and youth at the time. If you look at the photograph that I took in January 1963 in George Square, you will see that it was almost entirely young men, and they look a bit like teddy boys in the style of that period of the rock generation.
My father was a teddy boy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did a good job this day in George Square by resisting conscription.